Okay. All right. Hello. Welcome. My name is Imani, the host of the Oasis 13. Welcome to this episode. And today I have the ladies from What the Is Going On podcast. Okay. And we are going to have a very exciting conversation about the disconnect or the relationship, their perspectives, however you want to play, however you want to say it, between African Americans and Africans. Okay. And I'm going to have each of you ladies introduce yourselves, tell us your background, and, so we know where you're coming from when you're talking. So, whoever would like to go first, or we're going to start with Abigail, then Samantha, then Seki, actually.
Okay, cool. My name's Abigail. I'm 1/3 of the What the Fuck is Going On podcast. I don't know if you're allowed to swear on your podcast. Sorry. Take that back. It's Going On podcast. So I was born in the UK, born in Margate, but I am Nigerian. I do identify as Nigerian. When people ask me where you're from, I always say Nigerian. I never say I'm from the UK. So yeah, it is what it is. Oh, and thank you for having me.
Samantha.
Yes, and I'm Samantha, whatever floats your boat. I was born in Zimbabwe, but I was raised in the UK. But I do identify as Zimbabwean. I mean, they say you can take the girl out of Africa, but you can't take away the African from her. So yeah, I rep my Zim flag everywhere that I go, but I am also British by nationality. So yeah.
Hello. I am Segi Lola, but everyone calls me Lola. And if we're close enough, you can call me Saggy. But I actually have a bit of a, mixture in my background. So I was born in Nigeria, but I was raised in Ireland and I currently live in London right now. So in terms of what I identify as, I definitely identify as Nigerian, I definitely identify as African. When you meet me, the first 5 minutes of meeting me, it's very clear and evident that I'm an African girl. I can't even hide it. So I definitely identify as that. But I'm also of Irish nationality. So I don't know. I'm just saying I'm a Nigerian girl that has a red passport, which is the Irish passport. So that's what I identify as.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, ladies, for making that clear. And if this is your first time up here, I identify as African American. I was born in America, and so, but I also, I'm African. We're all African at the end of the day, but I've never been to Africa, so there is. All right. So let's get into the relationship between Africans and African Americans, because we know, hold on, we're going to wait for this plane to go by. I'm not even going to try to talk over it. So we know that there is a disconnect, or there can be a disconnect between Africans and African Americans. And, there's a lot of, oh, she said, he said, they say this, they think this about us. And before we get into like why, or where that comes from, I want to know what first of all, you guys' general thoughts about African Americans as a whole, right? You can't really say, oh, I think everybody, but as a whole, and then so let's start there, and then I'll tell mine. Yeah.
I personally feel like I find the term African American quite universal, because most of African Americans, they don't know where they originate from. We just assume that because you're Black, you're African American. I kind of feel like maybe we should just stick to the term you're Black American or you're African. because the term African American, we're just assuming you could be from the Caribbean and we're calling you African American and you're not. You're Afro American. So I don't know. I just feel like the term itself is somewhat controversial because you're boxing the black race into this one small box, and most of you can never, or unless you do the ancestry like test, it will tell you you're from Ghana, but you don't know anybody in Ghana.
Right.
Like you can't just turn up in Ghana and say, "Hi, it's tested. I'm Ghanaian, so like I'm here, I'm home." So I don't know. I just find the whole term. I just think the term itself should be abolished because most of African Americans, they actually will never be able to trace their ancestors. So are you really actually African American? You Black American, and you guys should just embrace it. I feel like it's the way for white people to make you feel like you are the other, you are not American, whereas no, you are American. The Africa side, remove it and just stick to Black American, and let's keep the party moving because like I said, majority of people who are Black in America will never be able to trace their ancestors. So are you really African when you don't even know where you're coming from?
Ooh.
Very
Alrighty.
controversial.
Right.
Oh, girl kicked it off. No wonder she put her hand up.
Right. Hold on.
She always looks, she's the most peaceful looking one, but she.
Right. I'm like,
there.
ooh, that hurt a little bit. Okay.
I mean, to me, like, I mean, I believe that everyone who, you know, identifies themselves as African, rightfully so, even if you know your specific region or whatever, welcome home. Everybody should be welcomed back. I believe that we should all leave the white man's land for them, enjoy it. Let's all go back. I guess it's easier for me to say that because I have my ancestors. I know where all my family's from. And I guess from the outside looking in, I wouldn't know what it feels like to be an American person that identifies as African American, but doesn't really know exactly where your lineage is. So it is an interesting conversation, and I get Sam's point as, you know, most people do believe that you are where you're born. Then British. When someone asks where I'm from, like I said earlier, is Nigerian. So yeah, it's really hard to pin one point on this conversation, I think.
I actually agree with both of them in some ways. Where I agree with Sam is that I feel African Americans, like, it is your land. You are American, period. You guys built this shit. So I'm so sorry if you don't curse on your podcast.
No, you good.
No, they shouldn't try to put it like, oh, your land is somewhere else. Your land is in that. Yeah, you have, that's why, you know, I agree with Abby because yes, you do have land in Africa, but this America is yours because you guys built it. You are basically, this is all what you know, and you've put your time, effort, like your whole family is into this. So I don't want like the white people in America to make you feel like you don't have a stake in your own land. Right. So that's why I agree with Sam. But also I agree with, like, you know, if you do want to trace your background, you do want to trace, oh, where do my ancestors come from? You should definitely be able to, because, you know, go back to Africa and see where you come from and, you know, have a stake in that as well. So honestly, I want the best of both worlds for you guys. So you can, you know, dip in and dip out in whatever you want to do. But I think, I think it's different for us because I really don't feel like, you know, maybe for Black British people, they can be like, yeah, I have a stake in this land. I don't care for the British land. So I care for the African land. So, you know, when I would be like, oh, my land is in Africa. Or do you guys believe that this is your land, Sam and Abby? I'm not sure. I don't believe like this is mine, and I don't want it because my ancestors haven't been here. My ancestors are in Africa. My grandmother there, my mother's there, everyone's there. So I'm like, okay, that's my land. I don't really claim this land, but I don't know what you guys, maybe you guys do.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I love all of y'all points, and I love that because really all of y'all have different perspectives. So that's what's beautiful about having multiple people up here, is because, you know, so how, so how some African Americans feel is like, we don't know. Yes, we know we're all from Africa originally, right? But we don't know Africa. We don't feel connected more than what we know about history. We don't have um family, like recent relatives from there. So it's just like what we know. We've built our another whole culture, which I don't like when some of them say we don't know our culture. We have built a whole separate culture in America, you know. So this like American Black culture is what we know. So yes, we can trace our roots back, and you know, we can, at the end of the day, we're all from Africa, but it's very hard to feel connected when you're not aware of recent ancestors or you don't have family there. Then it's just like, okay, yeah, like we cool, like, like I could get to know y'all or whatever, but past that, my people are in America and they're gonna be in America because this is where, our roots are, so I appreciate all you guys' perspective on that. And yeah, so I'm gonna say, from as the only African American here, or identify as African American, what, that is what some of African Americans are nervous about, is like we're not gonna feel connected. Got your finger. We're not gonna feel connected. Um, um, are you guys going to accept us? All of that. So what you got to say, Samantha?
So I just remembered. So I actually came to America for an exchange program when I was in
Right.
high school. And I remember, like, on the first day of school, we
Mm-hmm.
went in. I was the only Black girl coming from the UK. Like, my whole school was like white middle class, and then I was the only Black girl. So automatically, I was paired up with the only other Black girl on the exchange program, which was great because she had come to the UK first. So we were really close, and she was like my little sister. But when I got to the school at lunchtime, I didn't realize, like, how, when you watch the American movies, you think it's like all made up, these cliques and these popular groups. But like, I actually saw it in real life.
Right.
And then, so because she's African American, so she was with the cheerleaders and the African American girls. Obviously, I'm African. And she was like, oh, yeah, Sam, do you want me to take you to hang out with the African girls? Hold on. So, like, I kind of felt like African Americans somewhat look down on Africans, which is, for me, a little problematic, because if you guys claim that you are African American, you should see yourself as one of them. But I noticed that there was a divide, that you guys don't see each other, and Africans didn't accept them as well, because they were just like, oh, you're American. Mm-hmm. So already within, like, the Black community, we're not one, because you guys are better than the Africans, and the Africans don't want to be associated with the African Americans. So it's very hard to now bring the two together and say, oh, we'll welcome you to come to Africa, when we can't even do that in America. So exactly. I found that really interesting, how even at lunchtime, like, the African girls were there and they were dressed in their kente, repping Africa, but then the American girls were there just doing their own thing. It was quite interesting, and I found that, like, really, the race divide in America is very, very fascinating.
I honestly, I think there's a reason for that. I think a lot of, speaking to some African Americans, well, the two people I know, they don't teach a lot of African history. They're just as ignorant as ignorant is such a harsh word to use, but yes, you're just as ignorant as, like, your white counterparts, like the white people, because they don't know. So when they think of Africans, they think of, oh, we're in our huts, we live in the middle of nowhere, which is not the case whatsoever. I feel like if African Americans were more educated, and which is your government's, your school system, that's like your whole country's problem for not teaching you about your own history. I feel like if you know more about your history, you'll be able to relate a bit more, and also be able to, not be like, oh, I'm better than Africans or Africans. I think there'll be more unity if you know more. Whereas I believe that African school system teaches us about American history, I was reading about Martin Luther King and the civil rights movement from Ireland, from my little small town in Ireland. They made sure, I feel, and even in Nigeria, in schools in Nigeria, they teach us African American history. So I think that you guys just need to learn more about African history so we can all be on the same level. I think that's my opinion.
Abby, you got
Well,
anything to say?
what I wanted to add was, you said earlier that you've never been to Africa at all, like completely, not even, but like even as a holiday destination, like that never came across your mind. Do you travel loads to other kind of places?
They don't. I honestly think it just comes back to they know. Like if they're telling you that this place is a hot, do you want to go there for summer vacation? If they're telling you
I know for me personally, I want to go to Africa. I just haven't been yet. I haven't traveled that many places. The first place I did travel was Asia, and that's because it was easier as far as I was working there and I was an English teacher. And it's just very easy to get set up as an English teacher there. So that was the first place that I traveled. But I do want to travel to Africa. It just hasn't happened yet.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, there's other ways to, understand Africa and other ways to, whether or not you do that ancestry.com or whatever, and that you want to embrace your African heritage, even though you don't know which one it is, explore them all, enjoy them all, go to like anyone that you see fit. To me, I would, if I didn't know where I was from, I'd probably go on the internet, see which one I resemble the most, and start a blog about it. Let me hit up Nigeria, let me hit up Ghana, let me hit up Zimbabwe, let me hit up, do you know what I mean, everywhere, and just embrace it, because not only is Africa a place where we can call home, but we should be pouring our coins there. Like I feel like Americans are so quick to want to go to Europe, they're so quick to want to go to other destinations, but when it comes to Africa, it's like, oh, if it's not South Africa for the safari and the giraffes, then nobody really wants to go anywhere else. And it's like, it's such a beautiful place to explore. I obviously haven't even been everywhere, but I'd like to, pour all my coins and go in Zambia and see. Never go if it wasn't for the fact that it's a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to answer what all y'all just said. Okay. So I do agree, Segi, that we need to be taught our African history because it's definitely not taught like as a mainstream in the schools. And for us to like know that, we have to do our own research, and we have to be interested in that, because they do make it seem like try to disconnect us so much from each other and try to make it seem, just try to bridge a gap between us all, like not just Africans and African Americans, but everybody in the African diaspora.
Hello?
All right. So basically, yeah, we do need to be taught more African history in the schools, because it's not a mainstream thing. So for us to get into that, we have to do our own research, right? And that's how we can, like you said, Segi, how we can bridge that gap that is between us, and also let's talk about like how the gap comes. Like, do you think it's because of us or because of the media? Like, how do you, and let's be honest about, our communities and what is portrayed from us and then what's portrayed from the media. So whose fault do you think it is that we have a disconnect?
I mean, like one example, Coming to America is a really popular, African American produced film, but I feel like that's how African Americans view Africa, and it's not anything like, Coming to America. So I feel like a lot of it perhaps has to do with the way movies have portrayed Africa, so people don't necessarily know what is going on. Yeah, it's a tricky one. Like I said, I don't really know where like you, for instance, what, like, your thoughts on Africa, what are they based on? What do you watch, and how, what are your thoughts on Africa based on what you see?
Well, the only reason that I have a different perspective is because I do my own research. But if I didn't actually research and was like interested in it, yeah, it would be based off of media, which is not a good representation, which makes it seem like, Africa is a poor country, which makes it seem like um it's like a third world country, which makes it seem like um Africa. I know that like Africans will try to like scam you. Yeah, those are common, I would say common perceptions if you don't do your own research. You would probably think that.
That's interesting. Where do you get that from? Like, where are your perspectives? What are they based on?
Um I'm not going to lie, my parents are very ignorant. They are very ignorant. And so they will say things sometimes. And again, media, like mainstream media. Um, and yeah, I mean, I went to an HBCU, and um, it gives you a different perspective because it's people from everywhere. Mostly Black people from everywhere, and there were a lot of Africans there too, and like. Um, but it's again, it's such a divide because it's like the Africans has their own group, they with the Africans, and then they really don't understand, we really don't understand each other. We still not really, unless you again take the time to yourself to try to figure out, then you're just gonna have the same type of mindset.
I think another thing I just wanted to ask was, I've never been to America, so I don't really know, but what do you think it would take to kind of bridge the gap between Africans and African Americans?
Yeah, definitely. So um again, we have to do our own research. That's the only thing. We got to do our own research. And then, like, us having this conversation right now is helpful because we don't know what each other thinks. We kind of just listening to, oh, they think this about us, or, they don't really like us like that. Or, if we go over there, it's just a back and forth, like he say, she say thing. So we just have to talk to each other because unless we're going to be, and I think our generation is a little bit more open-minded because I think I can speak for my parents' generation. They're very like, they're ignorant on a lot of stuff and they have their mindset about a lot of things, and that's what they think, and that automatically goes down to the child unless you do take it upon yourself. So it's just us talking to each other, trying to change the narrative.
And I also feel like Black Lives Matter has helped make more African Americans want to explore other places to live. I kind of feel like maybe the older generations, they were kind of content with the treatment they were getting. But I feel like this generation, millennials, are tired of, Black men being shot. They're tired of Black women being abused. So I think Black Lives Matter has helped more African Americans want to actually look at other options. And I've seen a few YouTubers actually say, actually, I'm packing my bags and moving, to an upcoming African country. And a lot of people love it when they get there. So I feel like, I think it's more prevalent now simply because of the political warfare in America and people just being tired of being treated like the way they're being treated.
And also, the thing I was going to say, maybe to any African Americans listening to this podcast, we actually have a lot more in common that you would think. Because number one, I know something for the Black community in the world. Respect is such a big thing. Respecting your elders, respecting your parents, and also this thing of like community. And that's one thing that, Africans have. That's our whole our whole thing is a sense of community and also respect. And I feel like if we just like talk to each other or try to bridge that gap, you would see that we actually have the exact same background, the same thinking, like it's so similar. So and also you have to educate yourself. I know you're hearing, oh, Africans are this, African scammers, African are blah blah blah. At the same time, why is there a divide? Like we're the same skin color. Like I'm not understanding. And I feel like maybe in the Black community, even we have this light skin versus dark skin. There's always such a divide in our community, and I don't understand why. Like, and the divide in our community is also only making white people stronger. They use that against us. Like, look, they don't even get along in their own community. No, we should be sticking with each other. And also with Black Lives Matter, when that, I just saw that Derek Chauvin, by the way, guys, I just saw on Twitter, he's going to jail. He's guilty. Anyway, so just saw it pop up on my phone. But anyway, when you guys, when the Black Lives Matter thing happened, Africa stood up for you guys. Did you know that there were protests in Nigeria? Big protests. And in Nigeria, we can't protest like you guys. When we protest, our police literally will hit people, literally will fight back. So African communities in Africa that they know that their government does not allow protests, were protesting on your behalf and getting beat up by their local police while trying to fight for you. So I think, and I don't think your media covered that at all. There were plenty of countries in Africa, South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, and those are the ones that I, know of because I saw it. They were all standing up for you guys, regardless of what the consequences was going to be for them. So I think or maybe your media needs to portray that more, that at the end of the day, we are the same people. We're always, ride or die. We're always going to ride for you. And we just hope that you guys would ride for us in the same way. And I saw that. Did you know about the End SARS thing? I saw a lot of... and SARS, which was police brutality in Nigeria. I saw a lot of Black Americans, and I was so proud because I was like, yes, this is what we need. We need more unity in our community. For the NSARS, a lot, Beyonce, all your, celebrities, even, I don't know, T-Pain, all of them were tweeting being like NSARS in Nigeria. And I think we need that more because only when we come together is when there will be change. Black Lives Matter, because that rang throughout the world, especially in Black communities around the world, it gathered much attention. So I just think that is when we come together that we can, make change and let there be unity. All this, oh, they don't like me, they don't like me. No, literally, if you put a Black, African American mother and an African mother together, 95% of what they're gonna say is gonna be the exact same thing. It's literally, I can't stress how similar, like church, God, community and respect is like the biggest things to Africa, and I've noticed is the biggest things to African American as well. Sorry for that.
No, we know it's a tool. It's a tool. That's what they want, right? They want us all to be separated, all of us. But like you said, not even, right now we just talking about African Americans and Africans, but all of us in the African diaspora. If we came together, man, it would be so freaking phenomenal. Like, we have so much power. Am I frozen right now? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just make sure. So yeah, we have so much power. And if we all came together, it would be so beautiful. But yeah, like you said, the media portrays it in a way to try to make it to try to separate us from one another. And the reality of it is we're not all going to ever be like, yeah, we have like the same was it morals, or the same grounding things, which is God, family, community. That's what grounds us. But we're all separated as far as when you get into little stuff, as far as like culture, slang, all of that different stuff. It's different. So we're not all going to be the same. We're not going to agree on what kind of food tastes best, all of that type of stuff. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, So I thank you ladies for coming up here. And again, like I said, I think we are the generation to start making that change. Like we're starting to figure out, not listen to what they say. Like these platforms, these podcasts, these YouTubes that we have are so beneficial for us because we get to tell our own stories and we get to say it how we want it, and they're not controlling it anymore. So I really, really appreciate that. And if y'all could say something to African Americans about um, how Africans feel, or if they feel like maybe Africans wouldn't accept them, what would y'all say to African Americans?
I think you just need to go in there open-minded and just forget everything that you've been told about Africans. So like what Abigail said, I think the best way, don't necessarily go to like the just randomly pop up to the African, say, hey, my brother, I want to be one of you, or start speaking like African slang, because you also need to understand that I hate this boxing because Africa is a huge continent.
Right.
So there's a difference between the Kenyans, the Nigerians, the Zimbabweans. So automatically, you can't just assume that I'm Nigerian, because that's the most popular. I think Nigeria is the most popular African country. So you might assume that I'm Nigerian. So you come and say something that you've seen in a Nigerian movie, and I am from South Africa, and I'm looking at you like, what are you saying? So I think you just have to be open-minded, and I think the best way is to travel. African tourism is absolutely incredible. We don't have mud huts. We have, a lot of white people actually go to Africa because they love it so much. I think the best way, book a holiday and just go and see it for yourself and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to add to Sam's point. I think conversations like this, and not just speaking about it and complaining about the past and saying, oh, we're so divided. Let's actually make some change. Let's actually do something, because we can have conversations like this till the cows come home. We could talk about the division from now till next year, till our kids are born, and nothing will change if we don't actually step up and do something about it. And just integrate. It's not hard. We integrate with every other race absolutely fine. So you don't have any problems with the white man. We don't have any problems with Indian people. We don't have any problems with any other race. We find it awkward when we see an African person if we're African American, and vice versa. Why is that? Like, I just think we should just forget about whatever the divide is and just get on with it. Let's just keep getting on with it.
Yeah, and I feel like, just as a person, like learning about different cultures, learning about everything just makes you a better person, makes you a more enlightened person. And, I feel like, good due to our education system in the UK and in Ireland, they open our eyes to all sorts of cultures. Like they teach us, like, even we have a subject called religion, and I'm Christian, but I remember as a kid I was taught about the Jewish religion, the Muslim religion, just so that I have have a good grasp on what is going on in the world. And I feel like, if your education system is not built that way, you have to take it upon yourself, and as an adult, to be like, okay, I want to learn about this. I want to know more about this. And honestly, it just makes you just a better and more enlightened person when you know, not just African, but when you know shit about the world, man. You get what I mean? So yeah, just please do your research, talk to Africans. I don't know why. There's no reason to be scared of Africans. I don't know. I'm Nigerian anyway. I think Nigerians are the most silly people on this world. They're just so like unserious and like funny and all of that. That's my opinion, because I'm Nigerian. So there's no need to be like, oh, I don't think they will like me. No, 9 out of 10, they want to drink with you. Okay, come with drink. All right.
All right, but is y'all older culture? How do y'all older culture feel about African Americans? Is this the new wave of Africans who feel about that, or how did the older culture feel about African Americans? What's their ideas?
I think most of our parents, as long as you're not like from the Caribbean, they just see you as black. They don't really like, even if you brought somebody home, they just see blackness. I feel society is the one that's given us all these labels to divide us. Mm-hmm. But my mom just looks at everybody as black, to be quite honest. So once you say, oh, mom, they're African, they're black, I've never had like my mom If you just say my friend's black, my mom is fine with it. Even if I was going to sleepovers, my mom would be like, oh, is it black? Is the friend black or white? I say, oh, my friend's black. Go. If I said my friend was white, she'd be like, no, not happening. But for the most part, she didn't ask, are they American? Are they Nigerian?
Yeah.
As long
Which
as they were
region?
black, as long as they were black, it's okay, because they know that in their home, they're most likely going to have the same morals and values that we do. So she knows that I'm not going to be doing anything naughty there, because she knows that the mum there, most likely, not all the time, of course, will have the same rules as she has. So she knows that I'm in a safe environment.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think they care. I think it's our generation. We care too much about clout and, fitting in and being in. Our parents are hustlers. They came to the UK to work. They didn't care where you come from. Like, that's the last thing on their mind.
Right.
My mom is the same. Like, I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. But like, their common enemy. It's not enemy, but it's the white person. They don't care as long as you're not white.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't have time thinking about, oh, she's this. No, not when Becky's giving her a hard time at work. She ain't got, like, if you're black, my mom doesn't really care either. Like, as long as your skin color is black, she's like, yeah, cool, dope, let's move on. She doesn't really, I don't even think she has the brain power to be breaking it down and to be like, oh yeah, this region, that region. I feel like that is more of an American thing, if I'm being honest. Like, you guys like to, like, oh, they're this from this. No. Are they black? Yeah, cool. Go on. That's the conversation.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess the thing, well, I would ask if you guys can have more understanding to African Americans when we do have those thoughts like that, because it's a whole systematic thing. So we have to constantly, like, get ourselves out of that thought of trying to separate, ourselves. Oh, you this, you that, you from here, you from there, So if you come across an African American and you can see that, they just understand, why, and try not to be like, like that. Just try to.
I think too much into it. I think you guys are overcomplicating. It's going on a first date. You guys are thinking about it too much, and I think that's why it's so awkward. Let's just go in there, be genuine. I think people understand that there's difference in culture. So if you need someone to explain, like, oh, why do you guys wear gele, or what's your favorite food? Like, more than happy to explain, but I just think you guys are thinking too much into the whole thing. Like, it's really not that deep, because at the end of the day, we gain nothing from you wanting to be African, because I'm still African. Whether you want to be African, that's your own business. But like, so I feel like you're thinking about it too much. Just embrace it, go with the flow, and yeah, it should be fine.
I even like this friendship group. The first time we met, we never said, oh, where are you from in Africa? Like, I feel like that wasn't even a conversation. So, like, I don't know, the 10th time we met up, because we automatically thought, girl, you black too.
Right.
Let's hang out. It was the skin color that brought us together. It wasn't the, oh, where is your mother from in Africa? Like, even though me and Abby are from Nigeria, we're from two different tribes. Her mom's from a different tribe. My mom's from a tribe. Sam is from a different country in Africa, but that is never ever conversation, because at the end of the day, and we all have different cultures, like, we do things differently.
Right.
But conversation of like, oh girl, you do this different. No, it's just like, girl, you black, I'm black too. Let's drink together. Period. That was the end of the conversation.
Right. Yeah. We trying to get there, we trying to get better. So this is where we start by having these conversations and understanding that, it's no, hey, it's love. We just got to talk to each other, get past that barrier. So I thank you, ladies, for coming up here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And please tell us what your podcast, tell us what y'all be talking about.
Yes. We are the ladies of What the Fuck is Going On, the flyest podcast and the best podcast in the whole of UK. Okay, period. And you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at What the Fuck is Going On. Yes, you actually type out the words fuck, because we're bad bitches. Who are we scared of? You know what I mean? So yeah.
Love it.
Good fun.
Yes, thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Great conversation, and y'all have a wonderful day. And
Thank you
please
so much.
remember,
Thank you.
yes, please remember that your refuge is in your self healing. So heal yourself to find your refuge. Okay, peace.
Thank you.
Thank you so